G'day. Today we're doing a service on a Mercedes GLE350D 2016 model, 3 litre diesel, all-wheel drive, and it's got the 9-speed automatic or the 9G Tronic transmission in it, also known as the 725. While we've got it up, good idea to just have a peek underneath, make sure nothing's gone amiss, check for oil leaks, check for bent rubbers or something like that. And before you even start doing these transmissions, you'll need a special tool I have, so you can 1, check the oil level, and 2, fill it. Everything looks fairly clean on it. How many Ks on this one?
135.
135,000 kilometres. So we'll just remove this big cover here. There we go. Nice big plastic pan. Now these transmissions, the 9G, apparently are a lot lighter than the 7G or the 7-speed transmission. They're made up of magnesium alloy and aluminium. Apparently they're easier to pull out too. And here we've got a diagram just showing all the ratios. You can see 9th speed, there's a reduction of 0.6. So anything above 6th gear is saving your fuel basically. Now to get access to the back bolts on the pan there, what we're going to do is just take these 2 nuts off and put a jack there on the transfer case. Hopefully we'll get enough clearance there to be able to remove the pan. There we go. A little bit more room just to get those bolts out there at the back of the... And we'll just put a block of wood there. So you never rely on the hydraulics. There we go. Should be safe enough now. Now the 725.0 or the 9G Tronic transmissions, they have a special plug here. If you look very carefully, you'll see that there are numbers, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. You'll be able to see it, can't really see it with that light there. The different settings are for actually different purposes. You've got the number 1 position is where you use it to add oil. It'll just open up the little, there'll be a little valve I'll show you in a moment. Number 2 is just for letting a little bit of oil out at a time when you're adjusting it. Number 3 is for adjusting it. There'll be just like normal, you've got a little flow tube or level height tube, but these ones have a little valve that positions in that tube. And number 4 is just to drain all the oil out, which we're going to do in a moment. So you want to take this plug off, 8mm Allen key. Or there's also a special tool. You'll need to get the special kit to do the service on these, just so you can adjust it. But they come with they've got like a little 8mm Allen key on that, or you can just use a normal Allen key. Now these caps, they're not on a thread, they're just on little lock points, so you just have to turn it a little bit. You're not actually undoing it, so just be aware of that, or you'll end up breaking the plug. And a little bit of oil will come out to the left a little bit. You'll feel a little click and you just pop it out, and not much oil should come out. There you go. And now we need the special tool. In here there's a little valve tube or whatever they're called. There's probably a specific name for it. And there it is there. You push that in at position 1. It should just go. No, you got to find its way in. It'll push right up. Alright, we're on position 1, and now we're going to turn it to position 4 to let all the fluid out. Just There we go. We'll just leave that. And when I talk about position 4, it's actually this little wing here has to be pointing at position 4. And that little attachment that we've poked it through just sits in here. So that one's still, that's the new pan there, still got the cap on it. One other thing, before you even start doing these jobs, you want to just confirm that the pan looks the same. I believe there is another version of it where there's a sharper step there. That's a nice smooth step. There's another one that has like a more pronounced step. So you want to make sure you've got the right pan. And another thing is, make sure you let it cool right down, because it is plastic, or the plastic can deform a little bit. Slide right down. You can take that out so we don't damage it while we're taking the pan off. Back to position 1. And now we're going to take the eTorx E10, is it? Yeah. And I'd recommend starting off with the most difficult to access bolts first, just in case you can't do it. Loosen them first, and then we can hit them with the electric ratchet. Now you will get a little bit of oil come out there, overflowing. Be aware of that. There we go. You can see the primary and the secondary filter, and the little tubes there that where you adjust the fluid level. And here we are on the ATSG manual, and it shows that the front filter is the primary pump, or just the normal conventional filter. And the one at the back is the electronic transmission oil pump filter. Now we've got to pop these tubes off. The way you do it, one of them you'll get off quite easily. You just sort of flex it to the side. Screwdriver like that. There you go, it's already popped out. And then just resting your finger on the pan rail and just supporting it so this one doesn't just pop back in. You just flex that other one off, like that. That one's popped back in. And there we go. Just make sure you haven't broken anything on there. And they have to go in a particular way. You can't really muck it up because there's a slot either side. You just slide it down. And I'm not actually sure what this one does, to be honest. It's all blocked. There's nothing there. There's no plug or anything. We'll put it on anyway. We'll just whiz the other one off. You might need a bigger screwdriver for this side. You flex one side off, like that. And now I'm keeping tension with my finger on the pan rail there, that middle finger. And I'm just sort of pulling with my thumb and forefinger and resting it on there like that. That's in the way. And then I just sort of flex that. A wider screwdriver. I'll get that one off. I'll get this side off first, and then that'll come off easier now. There we go. The same thing. There's a little tang there. You can see it just slots in on the new pan there like that. Okay, I've got the tube out. Now I'm just going to show you what happens when we push that in. Now you'll notice there's like a little slot there on the little pin. Very hard to see because it's all black. There it is, right there. And all that's doing is lining up these slots. You can see that's on position 2. You got 3. That's measuring the height of the oil. It'll be overflowing number 4, and that one just opens these ones up. You can see that. So yeah, it's open the bottom. So you're letting the oil out to that level. You'll still get about a centimetre or that depth of oil in the pan. And that's all that is. A very complicated idea for something that you can do with just a drain plug. But anyway, so now you need to buy the special tools to be able to do that. And that's all that is. The number 2 one, you'll see that it only opens that, so it just trickles out. There you go. That's number 2. And number 3 will be opened. That's when you've got a lot of oil, you want to get it out a bit quicker. It doesn't really matter. And number 4 opens these bottom ones. Boom. There we go. That's all it is. Alright, so now we just click it back in there, just support it, wriggle left and right. Just make sure those tangs lock in. That one's in. The other one does nothing. I don't know what it does. It must guide something in the transmission. There's nothing there. They're probably preparing a provision for the next one. They're making a 10-speed one. Going the wrong way. Slot goes to the one on the outside. That's it. Done. Now these transmissions, they have 2 filters. One filter will be, well, for like the normal one that's going through everything, and the other filter's for the electric pump here. That's that one. You've got a conventional pump and an electric pump here. So that's why they've got 2 filters. And of course you've got all the solenoids and everything there, right along there. Before you put it back together, just make sure you check that the O-rings are there. Sometimes when they come out of the factory they forget them. Good to just double check. A little bit of oil on there. Clean the pan rail and we're ready to put it back in. And if you remember, we've got to put the back in first and then just slot it in, just so those pickups for the filters can slot into here. And you just got to wriggle it up and it'll just push up a little bit. Now there is a sequence of tightening these, and we tighten them up to 4 Newton metre, all in that sequence. And then the final tightening is an additional 1/4 of a turn. Let's put your brackets back on. This one here, we didn't loosen it up there, we just actually bent that bracket down just so you can get the pan out. And you just bend it back in. Torqued it all up. 4 Newton metre in that sequence that I showed, and you just do it an extra 1/4 of a turn after you've done them all. Let the jack back down. Take the block of wood out, of course. Put the 2 nuts back in. And we have been on the Tritech Lubricants website, and we have found that the full synthetic low viscosity is compatible with the Mercedes-Benz oil that goes in these. Now we're filling it, so make sure you're on position 1. You can just confirm that. Take that out. Put a bit of oil on the O-ring and we put the fill adapter on now. There we go, and it'll sort of just click in, you'll feel it click in. Now on these that come in the kits, I've bored that out, made the hole a little bit bigger. They put a tiny little hole on there, it'll take forever to fill it. And we've measured roughly how much come out, and we're going to just add a little bit more. You want to just put slightly more in. Then we've got to get the transmission up to temperature. It's got to be within a temperature range, and then we check the oil. So you can actually fill it at position 3 where the oil level check mark is. It's just that that little hole is a lot smaller. So we're going to put a bit over 4 litres, probably 4 1/4 litres in, and just check it at position, what is it, position 1. And then we'll put it at position 3. So it's up to you if you want to take your time and put it at position 3. You don't have to muck around taking that out, putting that little tool in. Up to you. Hope that makes sense. Okay, we've put about 4 1/4 litres in, taken the hose off. Okay, we're still on position 1, the filling position. Nothing should be coming out. And we push this in to position 1, up to there. You can see position 1, position 2, position 3. Now, when he starts it, we'll get it up to 39 degrees. We flick it position 3, check the oil level, and then we're going to flick it back to position 1, and then we can put the plug in and the job's done. So what temperature are we on? We're on 23 degrees. Yep. You can see we're on 23 degrees. There's still nothing coming out at position 1. As we get closer to 39 degrees, we'll flick it to number 3, let it trickle out, and then when it's right at 39 degrees, flick it to position 1, and job's done. We finally reached 39 degrees. Now we flick it over to position 3, and you can see it's just a constant trickle there. We actually added a little bit of oil. It's probably got 5.5 litres in there now. So thin stream like that, flick it to position 1, and now we put the cap back in, push it up evenly, just wriggle left and right a little bit, and forward. There we go. Clean the oil off, and turn the motor off now. There we go, cover's all back on. It's a little bit confusing because it's got those 4 little points on that tool there to get the oil level right. But once you start doing it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, I hope that helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave any comments or suggestions in the section below. And don't forget to throw us a beer if any of this information helps. Thank you for watching.